Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to another episode of Morning Tea, where we sit in our sleepwear and discuss current events. Today's tea is vanilla bean coconut milk latte, which is not tea at all. Decided to try something new, and I kind of love it. One of my coworkers told me that Starbucks is in some kind of mess again down in Florida. Something happened. Girl, I couldn't look it up. I'm gonna do morning tea a little bit differently today. I'm going to be putting on my makeup because I have another video to film after this and I just don't have that much time, so it's better for me to multitask. So I just want to apologize to the men who watch this show who are gonna somehow feel emasculated by this action. Just know that if you are watching me put on makeup, you are not gay. Unless you are gay. So I'm gonna put on my head wrap first because I'm feeling like a head wrap. This is not tea, but this is. First I want to talk about Demi Lovato. So I feel really bad for Demi Lovato. I don't know if you guys know her. I don't really know exactly who she is. For the longest time I got her and Vanessa Hudgens and Selena Gomez mixed up. So I think they're all Disney kids, but it turns out that she had suffered from depression and bipolar disorder for very many years, right around the end of her career on the Disney Channel, or maybe even during when she was on the Disney Channel. She was doing heavy drugs for a long time. It just got to the point where she finally got some help for the drug usage and had been sober for 6 years. Also, she has that song with Christina Aguilera right now, and I was just kind of like, okay, like this girl's really doing her thing, you know, and she's a great songwriter and she plays the piano, so she's a really accomplished musician. And it turns out last week, or a couple of weeks ago, she had the police called out to her house, the ambulance, because she had overdosed. So I don't know if she's still in the hospital as of today, but I am just so sad for someone who has been sober for 6 years, seemingly getting their mental health issues under control, working on all the problems and issues in their life, for them to fall off the wagon. And she even wrote a song about not being sober anymore. So what I did is I just literally did that twist and did it to the side. So it's just a twist on the side, that's it. I just feel really bad that somebody who had been working on their mental health issues and had been making such great strides, had been sober for 6 years, managed to fall off the wagon and then overdose. So I'm just really sad for that whole situation. That's the only thing I can say about it. And I wish her a speedy recovery. And I hope that she is able to get all the help that she needs. Because mental health is so scary to me because it can affect anybody. And sometimes it happens to you later in life. Sometimes this happens to you early on in life. Sometimes there's situations like Amanda Bynes where in your 20s, all of a sudden you develop schizophrenia, you know? And the same thing with like Britney Spears. We've seen it a lot in the public eye, and then you have to learn to cope with it and manage it. And it's hard when, you know, you didn't have that issue all throughout your teens, you know, and all of a sudden you have it, and it's hard to manage and cope with because you haven't had to do it for all your life. So I wish her the best. I absolutely do. This ain't tea, but this is. Okay, so I'm putting on Peachy and Primed. It is a two-phase primer and it really works to help with the oil that I have that protrudes out of my skin when I'm wearing makeup and causes it to dissipate. LeBron James! So I finally have something about LeBron James that I can talk about that I understand. So LeBron James has started a school in Akron, Ohio called I Promise. And right now it's 3rd grade and 4th grade. And as they go, they're going to have more grades. And I'm so excited that he is able to do this for his hometown and for the people that he grew up with. He says that he had a very unstable 3rd grade year. He was out of school, I think 80 days out of the year because of that instability in his household. And so he is going to make a school that's going to help children with those issues still have a place. I mean, I read that it was going to have free lunch, snacks, and breakfast, pre-transportation if you live within a 2-mile radius, and some other just really great amenities. Oh, free tuition and then automatic entrance into a university or a college if you graduate. So, I mean, that sort of like, that takes the whole, you know, from school to what is that pipeline called that Black people and brown people tend to be involved in. I just really hope that this school is great. I hope that it really does transform the children of Akron, Ohio. I hope the best for him, and I think it's just so admirable and so great that he is just so in on the ground with this kind of thing. It's kind of like when Akon, you know, started the schools up in what country is it in Nigeria? Senegal? I think Akon is Senegalese. I might be wrong, but Akon did the same thing. You know, he started with electricity, and then now he's doing currency to help build up the economy. And I just love it when I see people who are actually like, it's not just a foundation in name and you just put money towards it, but you're actually working with people to build something great for the community, and that makes me really happy. So I now know who LeBron James is, and it's solidified in my mind. You know, and apparently he's one of like the best basketball players of our time. That is also solidified in my mind, so I will remember him, and I won't be confused when people talk about him. Maybe I still will confuse him with Kevin Durant. I don't know, but I don't know who Kevin Durant is. I just know, to me, they're all the same person. Right now, I'm just putting on my face some Laura Mercier setting powder, translucent powder, just to kind of set this foundation. And the foundation is lighter than my skin tone for two reasons. One, because they don't make it any darker, and I want a BB cream. I don't want an actual foundation that's too heavy. This Black Radiance is a black brand, and it's a BB cream, and they don't make it in my skin tone, so I use this color. But what it does is it helps to even out the color between my chest and my face. All the description will be down below, girl. I can't be saying it in the video because this is morning tea. This is not necessarily a get ready with me, but it low-key is. On to our next topic. This not tea, but this is. Cardi B has announced that she is not going to go on tour with Bruno Mars, and for some reason, I don't know why that made me so happy. I don't know, I just felt like I wanted her, I guess in the back of my mind, like I was like, well, if she's going to do it, she can do it. I am woman, hear her roar, like I support it 100%. And now that she's saying she can't do it, I just am like, okay, good. I'm okay with that. I want her to rest up and be healthy. And I want her to be at her full and not push herself so hard right now. Because I think like any fan of hers and any audience of hers will truly understand that she just had a baby. She worked it out for us while she was pregnant. And now it's just time to like enjoy that time. So, you know, it's your first child. Like if it were her second child, I think I wouldn't have felt so like, she's gonna jump back into it so quick. But because it's her first child, I kind of want for her to enjoy it as much as she can. And if enjoying it means not going on tour, then I'm fine with it. So I really hope that nobody was like angry about that. And if you were, you are an animal. Okay, speaking of Cardi B, this isn't tea, but this is. Not to say that I'm judging Cardi or any decisions that she's made in her life, because 100% that is her life. She can spend her money however she wants to spend her money, and I am not judging her at all. Let me first off start by saying that. She's dropped over $500,000 on a car. Cash. And that got me thinking about poor rich mentality. And that got me thinking about how in this country, we say that so much relies on race. Everything is race. Everything is racism. But I don't think that's it. I think that it's racism, yes, but it started off as classism. And it still is low-key underlining classism. I think that the reason why we think of it as racism is because of obviously Bacon's Rebellion, right? So they had to figure out a way to separate the races so that the lower class didn't rise up against the higher class, or the poor didn't rise up against the rich, right? So when I think of the word class, I think of social economic status, but I also think about mentality and the way people move about the space, right? And for Cardi B to buy this car cash, to me, and not saying that it is, or this is her experience, or this is what she was trying to do, to me, that's poor mentality. Or it's the mentality of someone who's so grossly rich that doing that is just like whatever. But to me, that behavior in general is a poor mentality behavior. Why would you pay cash for something that is going to depreciate as soon as you drive it off the lot? Unless you have plans on leasing it, or you have plans on, you know, leasing it for movies. You know, if somebody wants a shot of a Lambo in a movie, or somebody wants a shot of something in a music video, and you're going to plan on making money off of it, or you're a car collector. And at the end of your life, you are going to be proud that you have all these kinds of cars, and eventually they will fetch a decent price. But will a Lamborghini ever fetch a $500,000 price again? Maybe, maybe not, but who knows, right? Who knows? And so it's such a shaky investment. And if it isn't an investment, what is it? You have that much money. I really feel like people who have money need to be smart with their money in order to keep it. And that's how a lot of rich people have managed to keep their money, by being smart, curmudgeon, and stealing from others and preying on the poor. And if you're not gonna do that, then buying a $500,000 car does not make any sense. So, like, and I'm not necessarily, again, I'm not judging Cardi. I'm just saying that whole concept of doing stuff like that is, to me, a poor mentality. I think more so than race, class is what separates us. Because while I consider myself to be a poor person, I'm not rich, I'm not upper middle class. Any vacation I take or anything I purchase is really me thinking about it and or putting it on credit to pay it off later. Like, I'm a poor person. I'm not in poverty. I am a poor person that has privileges that I try to take advantage of at every single opportunity, definitely. But I am not rich, right? Financially, I'm not getting a certain amount of money in my bank. I'm not investing that certain amount of money. Like, I don't have any of that going on. So I'm not rich. I'm not well-to-do. I'm not wealthy. I'm not upper middle class. Like, I'm not any of that, you know? So, like, when I say poor mentality, or when I say poor, I'm thinking of the way people choose to spend their money and how they spend their money when they get a little bit of it, right? You get a little bit of money and you decide you're going to buy something extravagant. Like, to me, that's a poor person's mentality, because you're not thinking about the long run. You're not thinking about anything more than the end of the year or the end of the month or the end of the week. You know what I'm saying? Well, some people that I know don't even think about investing in their children. They think like, oh, I had you, I did my part, and once you turn 18, either start contributing to this household or get out. And I'm not with that. I think that is a detriment sometimes to kids, and I think more often than not, it's a detriment. Like, sometimes it definitely does give them the push that they need to be better people and to really work on themselves. But for the most part, this world is very hard, and sending a kid out at 18 telling them to figure it out is not what it was, you know, back in our parents' day, right? An 18-year-old is not seen as an adult in our times. They are legally, but like, when it comes to making decisions, no. They can't rent a car. They can get credit, but they're going to mess their credit up. It's like crazy, right? So I have to be with somebody who has the same type of mentality as me. The mentality where our kids are going to be our future. Every decision made is thought about the future and how it could possibly affect us therein. And we're interested in education. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a 4-year situation, but education and growth and being better people, being better citizens, you know, being better to our families and to society. Like, that is who I am interested in being with. And sometimes you can't find that within your social economic status. And that's something that I cannot find. It's harder for me. Also because I'm not in a densely populated Black area where I have a lot of choice. So when I do meet the Black men or the Black people, it really is a toss-up on where their mentality is. And I'm not saying that I judge them in general. I'm just saying, as somebody who's a potential partner for me, that's where the judgment comes in. We can be friends all day. You know what I'm saying? But like, we can't be partners. I'm not going to tie my money in with you. And so that's what I wanted to pose to you guys. Do you guys ever think about the different mentality within people, like has a poor mentality, where they don't necessarily think about the future in the long run? They don't think about how they're going to keep their money and maintain it, because you're not always going to be in the industry that you're in where you're making millions and millions of dollars. Yes, the lucky few are, right? The lucky few are, but there are a lot of basketball players, football players, baseball players right now who don't have any money and are living in the glory of the past because they, unlike Magic Johnson, did not get a business, did not figure out how they were gonna, you know, have their legacy keep going after they stopped whatever occupation they were in order to make all the money that they ended up making. So I guess it's just a kind of conversation that I wanted to have with you guys. Like, do you guys think about that? When you think about your children or your future, do you think about investing in them so that therefore they can either take care of you or they can understand the value of life for themselves, so they can own a home someday, so that you can keep getting better as the generations go on? Because that is all I want. I just want the generations of my family to just keep getting better and better as the generations go on. Like, and that's what I think about all the time. And I don't even have kids. Like, I think about my nephew and I think about my potential nieces and nephews and like what I would want to leave to them if I don't have any kids, and how I'd want to keep that legacy going so that they can have a block to stand on for their future. And I want to think about how I can make money so that I can give back to the community that gave to me, how I can help, you know, children that aren't even related to me in the long run, how I can give back, you know? I mean, just giving back is so important, because if people didn't give back, we wouldn't have a lot of the programs that we have right now. We wouldn't have Spelman. We wouldn't have Morehouse. We wouldn't have Bethune. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think about that when I think about being pro-Black and Black excellence and whatnot. And so to me, that's why it necessarily doesn't matter, you know, who your spouse is, if you're pro-Black or not. It's about your mentality and what you're going to end up doing for the Black community as a whole, within your family, and maybe even outside of your family. But like, you have to think about those things. I mean, at least that's what I think of. And I think that starts with your mentality when it comes to money. If you think of money as something fleeting that you're just going to run through and buy all the things your heart desires, and that's going to somehow bring you happiness, I can't be with you. I need somebody who understands the longevity of it. I need somebody who wants more for the future generations and isn't thinking about getting 23-inch rims, isn't thinking about buying 5 cars. Like, bro, you don't need 5 cars. What you can do is buy 5 houses and rent them bitches out so that you can have some money. So you can have some property money. You get what I'm saying? Like, why buy 5 cars when you can buy 5 houses? Especially if your car costs as much as your house. Or at least, like, get a condo, something. Invest in land. Invest in something that's going to help your future so that when you get old, either you're able to take care of yourself, you're able to give to your grandchildren, you're able to give to your children. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is what I am looking for in a partner. Is somebody who is interested in growing and building and getting better and doesn't have a can't-do mentality, doesn't think that the color of their skin is holding them back. While it might, but they're not allowing that to stop them from making decisions. They're not allowing their upbringing and being real or keeping it real or whatever the hell to stop them from being great. What do you guys think about that?
I also want to acknowledge that access to that knowledge is a class issue as well, that not everybody has access to that kind of information. Most Black people aren't aware of it due to systemic racism and racism causing Black people to be poor and to remain poor. So I do understand that. But that being said, it is what it is. And until we can figure out systemic racism, then I can't control that. And the only thing I can do is go with what's available.
All right, so that's it for this episode of Morning Tea. I will have all the information of what I put on my face down below. I will have links to what I found on the internet down below, and let's have a conversation. Again, if I offended anybody by my commentary, it's not meant to offend you. This is just my thoughts. So if you have a different take, please, in a respectable manner, leave it down below and let's have this conversation. Let's have this dialogue. Am I wrong? Like, what have I gotten wrong? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's educate me and don't be rude. All right. If you like what I do here on this channel and you would like to consider becoming a Patreon patron, please click the link down below. If you want to just give me a little tip, a little extra because you like what I do, please go ahead and become a patron. I don't have anything to give you extra right now, but when I do, you will surely get it. And I want to thank you for considering becoming a patron. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.